si Maria Rosana Acosta Dawigoy, ang Partnership Focal Person ng SDO Isabela, nagbibigay pugay sa mga school districts na buo ang suporta sa Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela. Tuloy-tuloy ang good vibes sa Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela.
You're listening to SDO Isabela Radio-Based Instruction.
Come on, Mape! Yay! Mape paawit, mape pagguhit, mape sayaw at mape lusog ka. When learning continues in Mape Edukalidad. Hey!
When learning continues in Mape Edukalidad.
How are you, my dear students?
Oh, yeah!
Are you ready for our lesson for today? Very good! I hope that your day will continue to be great because we have a very informative lesson for today.
Wow!
By the way, I'm your radio teacher, Teacher KJ Monforte, and I'll be your guide as we tackle today's lesson in Mape Edukalidad, only here in Radyo Eskwela sa Isabela.
Oh, yeah!
Are you ready? So what are we waiting for? Grab your notebooks and pen because we will start in a few after giving you some reminders as we go on with our lesson.
Okay!
Here are a few reminders before we start. Make sure that your only focus right now is today's topic and avoid any distraction for the meantime. Please listen attentively, ready your notes, and try to take down important terms as we move along. You should also be aware of the directions for the quiz, which will be given later. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah!
Let's get that started!
Okay!
Before we discuss our next lesson, we're going to have a recap on the lesson that we discussed last meeting. Can you give some artists during neoclassic period? Yes, that's correct. First, we have Jacques-Louis David, an influential French painter and considered to be the preeminent painter in the era.
Wow!
His artworks are The Death of Marat, shows the portrayal of revolutionary martyr.
Okay!
Napoleon Crossing the Alps shows a strongly idealized view of the real crossing that Napoleon and his army made across the Alps through the Grate of St. Bernard Pass in May 1800, and the Oath of the Hereti depicts a scene from a Roman legend about the dispute between Rome and Alba Longa. The three brothers, all of whom appear willing to sacrifice their lives for good of Rome, are shown saluting their father who holds their swords out of them. Next, we also have Jean-Auguste Dominic. In Greece, was a pupil of Jacques-Louis David and regarded as one of the great exemplars of academic art and one of the famous old masters of his era. His paintings were usually nudes, portraits, and mythological theme.
Wow!
Last one, we also have Bertel Thorvaldsen, was the first internationally acclaimed Danish artist. He executed sculptures of mythological and religious same character. One of his artworks was Christ, an image of resurrected Christ currently located at Thorvaldsen Museum. How about the artists of Romantic period? Can you give some of the famous artists? Terrific! We had Jean-Louis Théodore Géricault, was the first French master and the leader of the French realistic school. His masterpiece was energetic, powerful, brilliantly colored, and tightly composed. His famous artworks are The Raft of Medusa, portrays the victims of a contemporary shipwreck.
Okay!
Next is The Insane Woman, one of the several portraits Géricault made the mentally disabled that has a peculiar hypnotic power.
Wow!
We have another one. we have Eugene Delacroix was considered greatest and most influential French romantic painter. His artwork was Liberty, leading the peoples, the woman holding the flag of French Revolution, personifies liberty and leads the people forward over the bodies of the fallen. Are you still with me? I think that you had understood our last lesson last time. So now, we are ready to tackle our lesson for today. What do you think will be our lesson for today? Our lesson for today is Elements and Principles of Arts in Neoclassical and Romantic Periods. By the way, learners, do you know about Neoclassical and Romantic Period artworks? Very good! Neoclassicism and Romanticism both started in the same era, but have different rates and characteristics what the previous unit has discussed. The principles of art are necessary as set of criteria used to explain how the visual elements arranged in a work of an art. To better appreciate one's work, it is usually first identifying the element and principle of art. When we travel to different places, we tend to look for a distinct feature that best represents the place. If not nature-made, most of them are work of arts considered as heritage. The artwork that we'll be showing here will help us derive the neoclassic and romantic period traditions and history. Students, listen carefully. I have a question for you. Do you have that art style in the period was brought about the renewed interest in Greek and Roman classics? Neoclassical art pieces such as paintings, sculpture, and architecture generally portrayed Roman history, which elevated the Roman heroes. The characteristics are portrayal of Roman history, formal composition, the use of diagonals to show the peak of an emotion or moment, local color, overall lighting, classic geostructure. Moreover, Romanticism was a movement in which the artists of neoclassical period sought to break new ground in the expression of motion. Both subtle and stormy, it embraced a number of distinctive themes such as longing for history, supernatural elements, social injustices, and nature. Landscape painting also became more popular due to people's romantic adoration of nature. Romanticism was a creation to the classical contemplative nature of neoclassical pieces. The characteristics are height of emotion, emotional extremes, celebrated nature as out of control, dramatic compositions, and heightened sensation like life and death moments. Can you still follow? In the previous lesson, we identified prominent artists of neoclassical and romantic and their work of arts. The essential elements of arts are also not new to us. Using the neoclassical and romantic artworks, we will reflect on the derived message of the art. Consider the 7 elements of art. These are line, shape, form, value, color, texture, and space. We also have the principles of arts, which are known as balance, contrast, emphasis, movement, pattern, rhythm, and unity or variety. Are you still with me? Do you know the oath of variety? Terrific! Can you reflect on derive the mood, idea, or message shown in the picture of Ode of Variety? Yes, it is a large painting that depicts a scene from a Roman legend about the dispute between Rome and Alba Longa. The three brothers are all whom appear willing to sacrifice their lives for the good of Rome. Are shown saluting their father who holds their swords out for them. We also have mood. In art preparation or in appreciation, it is the general atmosphere or state of the mind and feelings that a work of art generates. For example, the mood of painting could be disturbing, tranquil, dark, or energetic. Determining the function of artwork may be hard and challenging to trace the art history and characteristic of neoclassical and romantic periods if the picture information is inadequate or how we perceive the message of the artwork. Artwork's function is classified into two: motivated and non-motivated function. The first one is motivated function of art, which refers to the artworks that are used in consciousness action of the creator and artist. Examples are architecture, furniture, weaving, and etc. While non-motivated function of art is referring to artworks that are integral to being human. It transcends the individual or does not fulfill a specific external purpose, but for internal use that somehow balances harmony as an aspect of being human beyond utility. Examples are painting, sculpture, literature, music, and theater arts. However, there are more reasons that artists create art. Here are the 6. First, common functions we consider in art is first physical, social, personal, and spiritual, educational, and even political. The first one is physical function to serve as tools and containers. These are objects which function to make physically comfortable. Social function is the reinforcing and enhancing the sense of identity as family, community, society, or civilization awareness. Personal function is to express personal feelings. Perhaps the artist wanted to remind or share with the viewer's personal experience. Alternatively, that could be a tragedy or memorable personal moments that could be appreciated and reminded to live each day as it were the last. Number 4, its spiritual function is to express a spiritual belief about what they believed in or the destiny of life controlled by the force of higher power. We have also number 5. Educational function is a reinforcing education value through symbols and signs to illustrate knowledge, not to given in words but for discovery. Number 6. Political function. It is to reinforce and enhance a sense of identity and ideological connection to specific political views, issues, and opinions that people should be aware of. Are you ready for the activity? Let us identify the function of arts may be physical, social, personal, spiritual, educational, and political. Are you ready? Question number 1. Christ is a marble sculpture image of resurrected Christ currently located at Thorvaldsen Museum. I repeat, Christ is a marble sculpture image of resurrected Christ currently located at Thorvaldsen Museum. Number 2. The Raft of the Medusa. This painting portrays the victims of contemporary shipwreck. The Raft of Medusa portrays the victims of contemporary shipwreck. The people of this raft were French immigrants en route to West Africa. Question number 3. The third of May Goya's masterpiece that sought to commemorate Spanish resistance to Napoleon's armies during the occupation of 1808 in the Peninsular War. The third of May Goya's masterpiece that sought to commemorate Spanish resistance to Napoleon's armies during the occupation of 1808 in Peninsular War. Question number 4. Insane Woman. This painting is one of the several portraits Jerry Cote made of the mentally disabled that has a peculiar hypnotic power. I repeat. Question number 4. Insane Woman. This painting is one of the several portraits Jerry Cote made of the mentally disabled that has a peculiar hypnotic power. Question number 5. Liberty leading the people. This painting, the July Revolution of 1830, which toppled King Charles X of France. A woman holding the flag of the French Revolution personifies liberty and leads the people forward over the bodies of the fallen. Did you answer all of these questions? Now, let's see if you got all the correct answer. So here are the correct answers. For question number 1, spiritual. For number 2, the answer is social. For number 3, educational. For number 4, the answer is personal. And number 5, the answer is spiritual. For our next activity, I want you to choose one artwork from neoclassic and romantic that were discussed in the previous activity. Then, reflect on and derive the mood, idea, or message from the selected artwork. After that, answer the reflection questions for the first question. Let's have number 1. Were you able to identify the art period from which the artwork belongs to? Question number 2. What are the visible neoclassic or romantic characteristics from the artwork? Question number 3. How does the art piece convey the idea of the period? To check your answers, let's follow the rubrics. If you got 14 to 15 points, you are excellent. If your score is 11 to 13 points, you are very good. Then, if your score is 7 to 10 points, you are good. And for 4 to 6 points, you got a fair score. Lastly, if you scored 3 below, you got a rate of 4. Now, what are your scores? Did you get all the answers right? Wonderful! Now, let's give ourselves an amazing clap. And now, that is the elements and principles of arts in neoclassical and romantic periods. I hope you understood our lesson for today. Now, if you really understood, let's have a short recap. What are the 2 classifications of artwork function? The answer is motivated and non-motivated function. How about the function reinforcing and enhancing the sense of identity as family, community, society, or civilization awareness? Perfect! Social function. How about the general atmosphere or state of mind and feelings the work of art generates? Amazing! It is known as mood. Example is that the mood of painting could be disturbing, tranquil, dark, or energetic. And for the last one, what do you call the function? The destiny of life controlled by the force of higher power. Great! It is called a spiritual function, to express a spiritual belief about what they believed in. And we are done with our super and great topic. I hope that you have learned a lot for today's lesson. We also would like to thank our scriptwriter for today's episode, no other than Sir Joshua L. Tejada and the whole SDO Isabela RBI production team for this very productive episode. Again, I'm your radio teacher, Teacher Karen Joy A. Monforte. For further clarifications and queries, feel free to contact your teacher through Messenger, text, or call. Again, thank you and have a wonderful day.
Patuloy ang edukasyon para sa ating henerasyon.
Sa daan ng pagkatuto ay walang may iwan.
Kaya halina sa Radyo Eskwela!